Welcome, 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 everyone. Welcome to the Bountiful Podcast. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And we are live also on our Facebook group. Let me fix up my camera right quick. So we're live on our Facebook group. And I'm so excited to have you today. This is our first podcast of the series, and it's called Faith in Action. So let me just get to it. So I want to introduce our guest of the day. She is a friend of mine. I love her so dearly. We have been around the world together, but not always together, but we've been around the world together. She knows what I'm talking about. Her name is Ola Kimble. She is a goal and productivity strategist of the Collective Vision Consulting Company. And we get the honor and privilege of getting to talk to her today. And I just can't wait. I'm super excited to dive in and get started. So here she is.
Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing good and well. Look, well. I'm doing well.
You're doing well. So I'm so honored to have you here. We have
I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes. We have been friends for Japan was 6 years? 7? No, 8.
8 years.
8 years. Oh my goodness.
8 years. Look, I was going to say 10 years. No.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Time flies by. But I think the great part about it is we get to see each other grow.
Yes. That's the fun part. That is the fun part. Sorry.
Absolute fun part. I'm like, oh my goodness, the things we have done and seen and our families have grown since we have met each other, it's been phenomenal.
Definitely. I've been enjoying watching you from afar, from a distance, especially when we parted ways as far as location. So being able to come together now back on almost the same time zone.
Almost an hour. We're an hour apart. Close. We're so close. But the thing is we're an hour apart, but we're only like 4 hours apart. Because I can get where you are in 4 hours.
Yeah, jump on the highway. Hey girl, coming. Get ready. Once quarantine is lifted,
I'm gone. My travel bug is like itching on the inside. I'm like, oh, I've been in the house too long. I don't know if it's the military wife in me, but it's like I've sat here way too long.
It's time to go. My bags are packed. There's a meme going around with people with their suitcases and their bags on a treadmill, just preparing.
Oh, you haven't seen? Okay, I've seen a couple. I was like, meme, but I don't be missing my memes. Yes, maybe me on the first thing I can catch smoking. Maybe not the first thing because I got to use caution.
I'm about to say I tend to wait. It's like when the first release of a product comes out, you wait for all the bugs to get kicked out.
True, especially iPhones. I don't do that update.
I don't either. I'm the one that reads what's this update about. Am I having those issues? No, we're not gonna do that.
We didn't go, oh, it's gonna improve the iPhone 11. I don't got one of them, so it's not for me.
And I still haven't made my update, and I have one, so I'm good. Look, I'm gonna let y'all know now. You don't have to worry about that.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So let's get into it. So the name of the podcast is Bountiful, and so we want to discuss how you live a bountiful life. And what I mean by bountiful is abundant, like the abundant life that we have, that we live in with our faith and our family. How do you live abundantly?
That's a loaded question. Okay. How do I live? Well, I would say for me, living bountifully or living a bountiful life. Sorry, I've got a truck going past.
It's all right.
We'll let him pass.
Yes.
So living a bountiful life, I would say comes with operating with grace. Definitely. Grace with your time, grace with your energy. It also comes with operating with order. Even if you have to make order in chaotic times, having some type of order that fits for you. And then just like abundantly giving, like being open
Ooh, I like
to
that.
receiving,
Yeah.
um, be open to asking for help, asking for what you need, and being bold in what you know like what you have been given, and being bold enough to ask and command it.
Yes. That's good. Got it.
Look, I feel like, okay, yay. There you go, be bold. And these are lessons that like we all continuously learn. I don't think that it's ever like a finish line. You're always going to continuously be learning through lessons, through trials, through testimonies, all of that.
That's very true. But I love how you said abundant in order. Because, right now, we are in these times where we're all staying at home. And a lot of us are working from home, teaching children, teleworking, working on our businesses. And so, how do you put that in order, Ola? How?
When I find like the right answer, I'll tell you. But the
I
right
just
answer.
thought maybe you had the answer because I'm like, dude,
What I will say, okay,
there have been some late nights and early mornings.
there's late nights, there's early mornings, but then there's also like those down times where those unproductive times. And that's a lot where the grace comes in, because now we're in a time that one, none of us have ever experienced before. So we don't really know what to do, how to do, and like, quite frankly, what all needs to be done. Because right now we're in a space where either everything's a priority or everything is just a show, and we just trying to figure out what part are we going to play right now at the moment. We've got many different hats. There's a lot of pressure, and I've learned and seen and have had discussions with other people, like with the pressure that comes with being in these times, especially as whether you're a parent, whether you're a business owner, whether it's just you and you're just trying to figure out what to do. Know that you are enough, one, and two, you don't have to do everything right now. And just because you can do it doesn't mean that you need to do it.
Say it.
I say it a bunch of times.
Just because you can do it does not mean you need to do it. That is
Because,
good.
and then like now is a prime time for a lot of people. Like a lot of people are saying, hey, you've got all this free time. When all this is over, you should come out of it with this, that, and the third. Like you should come out with a business. You should come out with a banging bank account and all this other stuff. When people don't realize everybody has a different situation and everybody has a different story. So that's where that grace comes in. You have to operate with grace. You have to operate, one, giving yourself grace, and two, allowing yourself to give grace to others, because everybody's coming from a different perspective. It's wild out there.
It is low. It's very wild out there.
It's wild out there.
I mean, going to the grocery store feels like you're in a scene of a movie where everyone's wearing masks. At least on certain places, you have to wear masks to go in, and so everyone in the store has masks on, and it just feels like you're in an alternate world. It's a whole bunch of extra steps to go to the grocery store, and I'm like, man. And I feel like I've gone to the grocery store
a whole lot.
My goodness, it's like I live.
I don't like grocery shopping. I'll be quite honest. I like to eat.
I don't like to eat at a store.
Right. So to go to the grocery store is a chore for me anyway. And then you tackle this pandemic on it, and then people's reactions to the pandemic. You're kind of like, it's like being in a video game.
It is like a video.
And you're like, how many points do I get? Or I only got one life left, so I gotta like bob and weave the way I can.
Are you supposed to be in the grocery store? Let me go to.
Look, maybe I should do Instacart this time, because I don't think I want to go inside the store. I don't think I'm here for it. I'd rather just give the person the tip and like
and have them pick all the stuff out for you.
Yes,
I would do that. If we just didn't, I have to read labels, my life. So
I know. I understand. But when you if you know the stuff that you normally get, you can Instacart.
I've never Instacarted. I'm gonna have to try it.
I am a fan of Instacart, of any service that's going to give me some time back.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
You can't get back at your time.
Yes. Yes.
So, like, because we kind of because we're friends, we probably started off a way
Yes.
of this. But can you tell our listeners, what do you do? What is a goal and productivity strategist do for your business?
Look, we do a lot of things, but what I tend to do is I help overwhelm and unorganized new entrepreneurs systemize and structure their business goals so that they can operate their business with ease. And what that means is basically helping you find the time in your schedule, because everybody has time. They just they either may not see it or understand how it works.
Yeah.
So being able to manipulate time and command time the way that you need it to happen is a gift that I have. And I'm able to do that for other people, and then also help them structure their goals so that it makes sense for the lifestyle that they have. Because everybody can look at a SMART goal and say, okay, I want to do that. Let's make a plan. Cool. But then they come back and they see, oh, wait, I got 3 kids. I got a job. I got a whole bunch of other stuff to do. How am I going to make this work?
Or where do I start? I think that was the thing when starting a business. Where do I start?
Mm-hmm.
What state am I in? Because that's when it's different every state. What things do I need? What processes do I need in place? And I think that for me, I'm a squirrel, and I get into I'm gonna be hot, humble, open, and transparent. I got it from Mike Todd. And I'm a squirrel. I get lost in the idea of it all. I'm like, oh, I can do this, and that's just who I am by nature.
That's the fantasy of it all, and seeing the vision that you have and just living in that vision.
But
it's hard to get out of that.
But you can't live there, because reality is you have to start. It is. You have to actually put processes in place. You have to start figuring out how your business is really truly going to function, and then you do have to break, like you said, tangible goals that I have to do every day to attain that big goal that I set. So that's where the faith in action comes in, because we are women of faith.
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing, you hear a lot of people say, well, I'm waiting on the Lord. He's going to provide. And I just go, well, what are you going to do? So that's what I, don't be laughing at me.
Oh, no, the reason why I'm laughing is because you're a little bit nicer than I am.
Well, this is what you do for a living. So you need to be stern. I can be, I get to be the auntie in this situation.
Yeah, I like playing mama. I like playing mama, big sister. You can ask my older sister. I'm the bossy one, and yes, I'm bossy. But
my siblings, they probably would say I'm a tad bit bossy too.
Right. But when people say, well, I'm just waiting on the Lord, and He has made a way for me, and all of this is true. Like, He has made a way. He has made a divine plan for you. He waiting on you.
Say it.
He waiting on you. It don't go, He make the move first, and then you got to make the first move.
Yes, you do. You got to be the one.
Like, He already got it.
He already got it.
He already got it.
He does.
You're the one that needs to do the movement in order to make some stuff happen.
That is the truth.
It's a partnership. Both people have to be active. Both people have to be engaged. If you're not engaged, then what you playing for?
Yeah, see, you really are the mom. Look, I'd be like, I don't know what to tell you. You might need to do some stuff.
And then start asking those tough questions, because
because it's an action word. I think people think faith is just a thing that we do, but faith is truly an action, just as love is an action. Mm-hmm. There has to be some action to that faith, and that's what our business. I think Christian business owners have to understand. Yes, God will make a way. Yes, He does all these magnificent things, but we have to do our part. We have to do our due diligence. We don't just get absolved because we're Christians.
Right. And you also have to practice patience.
Oh, yes.
You don't operate on your time. You operate on His time. It doesn't go, well, I did this, so now it's your turn. No, you continue in obedience. It's going to come. It's going to happen, because His word does not go void.
No, it doesn't.
So you just got to keep moving. You the one that'll mess up if anything messes up. And you have to understand that too. Because a lot of times we get our pride and our egos, like, I did this. And it's okay to be upset, especially when you have a relationship. When you have a relationship with God, you're able to communicate, listen, I'm upset, I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm burnt out. I don't know what else to do. But you also have to be able to listen.
That's true. And I think too, you have to be able to ask what you're supposed to do before you do it. You can't go do something and be like, hey, God, I did that over there. I'm going to need you to go bless that and make sure it happens.
You have to seek his will first.
Yes. Yes, you have to seek. You definitely really do have to seek his will in order to be bountiful in that business area.
Like, in order for us to get the abundance that we pray for, the abundance that we know we are assigned to, we have to make sure that we follow the entire contract. That contract.
Girl, hashtag, are you following the entire contract?
Like, you got to follow the entire contract. You got to read the fine print. You got to stay in that word. You got to stay in that contract, because the Bible is the contract. It's telling you exactly what you need to do, how to do it, what to listen for. And so when you're not doing that, or when you are, and we all do this. So
no, we're all guilty. So please don't, please understand.
We all do this. Like, we get into a rhythm, and then something distracts us and we get off the rhythm. So now you got to work and get back into the rhythm. And that rhythm is how God is operating. And so once you get back into that rhythm, you got to stay disciplined. And the way that you stay disciplined is stay connected to him. The way to stay connected to him is in prayer and in his word.
Yeah, that's it.
I feel like I'm about to preach a sermon.
No, go ahead, girl. I was like, hashtag, did you read the contract? I have a title and everything. See, I can get a title.
She said, look, I got y'all. I got y'all on title. Y'all need
the title and all those things. So, because we answered one of my questions, so we don't even have to go back through it. I would say, how do you know that you're walking in your purpose?
You will get, and I forgot who said, I forgot who called it this, but I heard someone call it a God wink, and I've just attached myself to that phrase. You will get God winks.
God
winks. And you know it's that because only he could do it. Like, there's like, this is the right way. You get confirmation. You get confirmation from other people because he uses other people to speak to us as well. So you get confirmation through other people. You start seeing things work. And when they work in a manner in which you thought you had to do like one thing, but it just flowed, that's another God wink. At least that's what I believe. I believe that is a God wink.
Yes.
Because when things flow smoothly, that's because they're along his will. He said, okay, that's exactly what I need you to do. Keep going. Keep doing it. Now, when you're not,
it feels like you're going up the creek. And the pressure is like you're going the opposite way of the flow. It is hard.
That burnout come real quick.
Real quick. Because I've been there. So I think a lot of people, even you. So I have had my grandma used to call me Denise. She's like, what's Denise's job this time? Because that was me. I was like, oh.
I think that's something that we both share. Because there's a lot of pivoting.
I was like, I like this too, so maybe I'm gonna try this, and I like that too, and I'm gonna try this too. And fashion photography was one of my loves. Like, that was hard. That was one hard thing that I wouldn't say I gave up on, but I knew it wasn't my purpose per se. So I had to be like, God, it's starting to get hard. And so I just knew it wasn't.
It's like he let you go out for recess and now he calling you back into class.
Yeah.
I let you go play for a little bit, but it's time to get back to it.
And I played, girl. Look, when I was in Tokyo, yes, I played. I had an amazing time. But I think because you've seen my walk, you've seen it all. You can attest. So then I came back and I had my what was it? The She's Creating Artistry, which I still love. That was like a whole heart. I got to create stuff by hand. I was painting. It was great, but I wasn't really profitable. Look, I could be honest, I wasn't. So then you kind of go, what am I doing this for? All this headache, and I'm not making the money that I should be making. or I could be making. Or I think what changed my mind is when I went from England to the States and I walked
Mm-hmm.
into Michael's and literally everything that I make is on the shelf. And I said to myself, when you come back to these States, you're not going to be able to do that, have this business. It's not going to be profitable. What are you going to do now? And how are you going to change your business so when you come back, you can be successful? That was my moment. When I walked in Michael's, I was like, oh my goodness, all this, I could just buy it off the shelf. Girl, I'm not doing this no more.
Look, introducing God a Wink.
Yes, God had, he did.
Because he get you for either way,
He did.
whether you're on the right path
That's
or
why you're
listen.
off the
You need to
path.
listen to this. You need to
Now,
figure
don't
this
get me wrong. I will paint a sign because I love to do it. Like
out. I'm gonna paint a sign.
I will. I will paint. I love to paint. I love to reupholster. I love all the interior. I will always have that. But I think it wasn't my purpose, and my purpose wasn't there. And so it was one of those things. This is a distraction. It was like, oh, you're good at this. Maybe this is what you're supposed to do. And the distraction came, and then I was like, I went back. I finished school. I graduated and got my degree finally. I had been playing around, and it was when God had it to be. I had to come to terms with that. Okay, God, and then I've been in the States for 4 months, 5 months, 4 months. I think it's 4 months now, and it's totally pivoted all over again.
All the way.
But this one God gave me in 2018. And in 2018, I had my little prayer group, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And I kind of was like, eh. And I just kind of put it on the shelf. And then I got here. I definitely still get my real estate license because I'm a real estate agent. But I was like, this is your purpose. I need you to get my women. And I've always had that heart for women. I've always wanted to help younger women or business women. That's just always been my whole heart. And so that's how Bountiful Grace came to be. And that's why we're here. So I think that's when you talk about there's a journey. So you've been on a journey.
Ooh, buddy.
And I think that's what I wanted our listeners to hear. Like, there's no just you arrived, because people make it seem like I arrived, I'm the best, I've been doing this for years. This is in some people things come naturally. So I'm not saying that it can't.
Right.
But there's many people. There's a journey. There's a serious journey.
Just to get to the starting line.
And where they're going to go is a journey and a fight. And I think that's one thing that it needs to be transparent.
Yeah. With my particular journey, I would say, very much like you explained how you went through like all the different, like we start operating in our skill sets.
Yes.
And so that's what I was doing. I would operate my skill sets. I went to school for I'd been doing hair since I was a kid. So after high school, I was like, okay, I'll just go to hair school. Cool. I'll open up a salon, make it a spa, start a business. Bam, there we go. Nope. So end up overseas. And prior to overseas, I thought I was going to have this corporate career after the whole salon thing didn't pan out. I was like, okay, then I'll just go to corporate America. Went to corporate America, was successful in corporate America. It's like, oh, okay, this is life. I'm good. Just pulled me out of corporate America and placed me in Japan.
Yes, I know that.
Away from everybody. Didn't know a person. But then that skill set popped in again. I said, okay, here's an area of need. There's a lot of women, period, who want their hair done, want their makeup done. I know how to do both. Let's go ahead and make that business. Did that. And did a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Got my stateside. Let's see here. I have helped people develop their services. I have what I will say is first I'll say venture into entrepreneurship as an adult, besides the hair and makeup, because that was profitable. I did good with that. Yes. But I think coming back to the States was when I said, okay, let me start helping people set their goals. And I was just like, okay, I'll just do that. But since I wasn't fully committed to it, it didn't move. It didn't move because I didn't move.
Ooh, say it.
Look, I said again, it didn't move because I didn't move. But every other thing that I had tried to do or tried to start, it all had to do with productivity, goal setting. And that'd be like the first thing I talk to people about. Let us set up your services. What's your goal? What's your time looking like? In every single thing I do. And so I think now with just being comfortable and confident in what I believe my purpose to be, which being helping people developing their vision and making time for it. That's essentially what I help people do. Your vision requires your goals. So helping them be able to do that, I think is what my sweet spot has always been. And I just was, one, afraid to stick with just that because I saw what everybody else was doing. And two, I wasn't confident that I could be profitable and purposeful in just that. I always thought it needs to be more. I need to do more than just goal setting and productivity. Where no, I don't. So here we are.
Here we are. And we got, look, and you have arrived. Look, I love it. I love it that it's a journey. I watched the journey. I have been with you on all the
Yes, you have.
And I think that's the amazing thing. And then that's what I would tell our listeners. Find you business besties. Find you people who are going to hold you accountable. Find people who are, like you said, going to be a mama. Because there's plenty of times you mama me. And and it wasn't in,
it was love.
It was always in love, but it was true love. And I knew it was love, but I needed it. I needed someone to be like, what are you doing?
Like, where are we at with this? Like, or like, what happened to that? Okay, let's set some goals. Let's
go back.
It's all about structure. Like, I like structure. So I think that's essentially what I do, is help people take everything that's in their mind and structure it.
Yes. And so currently that's what I'm working on, structure.
Yes. But yes, you made a great point when you said it's important to have like business besties and accountability partners. You need people who are going to not just be your yes people. You need people that are going to be honest to you. They're going to be honest to you. They're going to be transparent with you. And it's going to be out of love. It's not going to be out of, competition, comparison, complaining. It's like essentially a true relationship. Yeah. That's what you want to build inside your support circle or your circle of trust, whatever you want to call it. Yes. But you definitely want to build the capacity for that, because that's also what's going to help you excel when you are running a business throughout life, not even just running a business. That's something we're all called to community and to like fellowship with one another.
Well, I have my kingdom sisters. That's what I call them. My kingdom sisters. Like, because it's not just, like you said, it's not just your business. You need people who are in your life. So, I call and you say, hey, this is what's happening. This is what I said. Was I wrong?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. And it's like,
sometimes you can't see yourself.
Right.
And you need someone else to be like, yeah, you was so wrong for that.
Like, what was your tone again? Let me see that email.
Or they go, Cheryl, I know how you can say stuff, or I know how your face looks. So because they know me, they don't even have to be in the moment with me to know how it came across.
Yep. Or like, take yourself out the situation. Explain what happened as if you were somebody just walking down the street.
Yes.
Okay, now explain to me how you felt it happened. Because those are going to be two different stories. But we are always the victors in our story, either the victor or the victim in a story.
And you have to, and I think that's one thing that helps you live abundantly. You have to take yourself out of the victim status.
Yep.
You can't live in victim status and live abundantly. You just can't.
You're right. You got to feel, like, allow yourself to feel the emotions, but don't live, like you said earlier, don't live in the emotions. Because when you live in the emotion, that's where you get stagnant. That's where you miss out on blessings. That's where you miss out on everything because you decided to stay there. You have to make the choice to come out of it.
Yes, that is true. That is, and then that's what I think people don't understand. Walking in faith and action is a choice. It's a choice you have to.
It's a daily choice. Sometimes every second.
Yes.
But let me tell you.
Right now, in these moments, every second. every second. I'd be like, okay, God, we're going to keep it moving. I got this.
Like, listen, you know how I'm feeling right now. And if I need to verbalize it, I will. But
if I need to go hide in the closet for a second and get myself together, I'm going to do that.
Like, I need you to stop me, because if you don't stop me, somebody gonna catch this smoke.
He said, catch the smoke. Yes. Seriously, catch the smoke.
Look, I am inviting you into my space. Please.
Please come here. Come here, please.
Please stop. Please stop me.
It has been, and it's funny because my son reminded me yesterday, and I said, he goes, I've only been home for like, he said, how long have I been home? And I said, oh, it's been like 4 weeks now. I can't even believe it has been like a month. And he goes, man,
a month and a week plus.
Not that she's counting.
Counting.
So then he goes, man, it feels like I've been here for 6 months. I said, you too? Because that's when I realized and I knew he was feeling it too. It's not just us feeling it. And so I think that's when you said we have to operate in grace, because we have to give them just as much grace as we need. We have to give to them.
Because everybody has been pulled out of what was normal for them. And for some, been normal for their whole life, i.e. children. Like my son, I know he's like, and my child is the child who loves to go to school. Like, he doesn't want to miss a day. That boy has had perfect attendance every year. Mm-hmm. And has only missed a day if he was like really sick and I made him stay home. And I know he'd be looking at me sideways like, hey, I want to go to school. I'll be stay home. Like, I can't. Can we go take a drive?
That's how mine is right now. Can we just get in the car and just go somewhere, anywhere? I don't know where that where is, but somewhere. So.
Like, can I just go in the car by myself and just make believe? Yes, you can. Go ahead. I'm saying.
Go ahead. I'll be here. Or, I think and so I think for me in this time, so because we're talking about this time in the season, how can businesses still achieve those goals that we set out for in January? Well, actually, really, I set mine in December of 2019, well, probably more than December. I said to myself, by this time in 2020, I want to be doing certain things at benchmarks. Now we have to pivot. Or
you may have to pivot. You may have to mitigate some things. What I will say is reevaluate your goals. Some of your goals, you're on track, and that's good. You can still achieve what you need to achieve. But for the goals where it's a little iffy, maybe you need to readjust. Maybe you need to revisit. That is something that, oddly enough, a lot of business owners don't do. They'll make the goals, they'll make the plan, and then they'll just move. But they don't take the time to come back and revisit it. Even like take the pandemic out the picture. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't a pandemic, when was the last time you looked at your goals? Do you remember what your goals were? Did you write them down? Like, these are like basics that we know intellectually, but actually actively practicing it is a completely different story. So I would suggest that everyone take a look at your goals, like do an honest review and reevaluate what can you actually do. And don't look at it from a, oh, woe is me, or even a sympathetic route, because some things, or maybe a lot of your goals, you still can do. You just have to move differently to achieve them. And so that's where you have to figure out how do I need to move now, since this is the situation, because we don't know when we're going to be allowed to go outside and play again.
No.
Some say May 1st, some say July 1st. Who knows? We really don't know.
And I think business owners are so confused. There's so much that you can get this loan. Do I qualify for this loan? Should I do this?
Or the loans have ran out. I mean, it's a lot up in the air. So there's going to be some pivots that have to be made. Maybe you were used to doing things one way, and now you got to actually kind of look and think about, maybe I should, kind of entertain the idea. Like, I see a lot of business owners never were on TikTok. Open up TikTok now, and they are TikToking it up. But it's working for them too.
It did.
Because they figured out how to.
I had to get off TikTok. TikTok took my time because it was funny. It was too funny. Like, I was just watching videos.
TikTok is entertaining for me. But it's entertaining for me. But it's a space where you can still do business. Like, I have a business bestie. She is blowing it out the water. There's another lady that I follow. She is blowing, like,
yes. So that's
moves are being made. So
you
there's still resources that can be used in order for you to still get the job done or get your goals accomplished. You just got to be willing to figure out what the moves are and thoroughly invest in making those moves if they fit you. Because it ain't everything ain't for everybody.
For everybody. And I think that's what I've been seeing, because we run businesses, and so I've seen people do things out of panic. And I think that's one thing that I just advising business owners: don't do anything out of a panic. Like, I know it's hard times. I know things. Take the time to thoroughly think about these things. Risk analysis. You got to do
the downstream impact.
Yes. What is going to happen if I do this?
Downstream impact.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that I've just been sitting back watching, because I get to see it firsthand in businesses that I help run. And I'm like, I watch some of the clients, and they're panicking. They're doing stuff out of panic. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. No, we're not doing that. And I think that's when I have mama moments. I had a mama moment today. We're not doing that.
Right.
But I think watching the panic, it's like you're not thinking about, if they lift it in July, you're going to have to be on the back end paying all this money that you may not have potentially made because you didn't follow through for these several months. And so I think I don't want anyone to get lost in effectively have to close their business because they can't pay back a loan they took out.
You're right. That is definitely something that business owners will want to consider when they're entertaining, really when they're entertaining any idea that's going off script of what they're either doing or what they plan for. You want to research and make sure you're in a place where you can make that move. Or if you can't make that move, like it's one thing to take a risk and it's one thing to step out on faith, but you got to step out on faith with some intelligence.
Yeah.
Like, is this something God told you to do, or you just going off willy-nilly? Because if it's something you going off willy-nilly and it wasn't a part of the plan, you can't have expectation that he gonna come and save your butt.
Yes, because it's not
financially, otherwise.
Because you don't want to hit rock bottom. You don't want to hit rock bottom when you didn't have to be there. You right. And so that's in how. So let's talk about how you recover from a setback, because for a lot of us, this is a setback. This is a setback. This is not what we intended to be doing or living in. How do we recover? So if I was a person, like pretend client, don't give me all the goods now. I want, give me all the goods. I need my people, my listeners to come and get the Ola experience. But if I was a potential client, what are like 3 things in this setback that they should be doing to come back? Because I think we need to learn how to come back. We need to come back to be strong.
Yes. So the like the tried and true cliche is the setback is just a setup for your comeback, right?
Yeah.
So take this setback as space and opportunity for you to rest, recharge. Like rest and recharge is incredibly important. And the reason being is because you have to have the energy that it's going to take to fulfill your mission. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is to rest and recharge. Like there's a reason why there's a Sabbath, right? It's called a day of rest. So you want to take time to make sure that you are resting. And I don't mean resting unproductively. You can rest productively. You can rest and still get things done. You can take a break, but do some things that maybe you wouldn't have had space and opportunity or wouldn't have made the space and opportunity to do so had we not been in this situation. Whether it's freshen up your systems on your back end, whether it is reaching out to folks, reaching out to clients. This is a time where you can still be relevant so that you're still on top of people's minds. Yeah. Because you want to remain relevant. That's one. So we're going to rest and we're going to recharge, right?
Okay, that's number 1.
So 2 is you want to make sure you have a plan. If you don't have a plan and recess doors open and it's time to go out and play and you didn't get a ball, you can't be mad at everybody else who got a ball. You wasn't ready. So if you was not ready beforehand, this is your time to get ready.
Get ready.
On ready. The way that you sit on ready is to have a plan. Have a plan of action.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. These are some of the things I want to have either ongoing or some things that I want to start. This is something that I need to start thinking about. How am I going to launch this? Things of that nature.
That is
so whatever the plan looks like for your business, you need to spend this time to create that plan. And if you have the opportunity to start putting things in place and start working that plan as much as you can with the resources you got. Right. And then the third thing I would say is build your community. Whether it's your internal community of like your Kingdom Sisters, your circle of trust, your accountability partners, you want to make sure you are building that up. And also your outside community. Maybe it's clients, maybe it's people who are who know about who you are, but they don't necessarily know what the experience of you is. Start building that up. Build up your brand in this time. Some people who are service-based businesses, you all can still operate. You still can provide a service if you like it, if your service actually allows, right? Like if you're doing lawn service, well, no, technically lawn care.
We still running.
Look.
My family, they still running because you don't have to be next to nobody, so you can still run that.
Right. So, and I said that, I just saw one guy outside.
Homes or anything that allows you to have to go into someone's space, into their home, or things like that. Like interior designers, I'm sure right now they're having a hard time because you got to get into the space.
Unless they're pivoting and doing virtual.
Yes, they should be.
Don't sleep on virtual sessions. Don't sleep on it, y'all. Virtual. Just consider virtual. I'll just say that if you haven't considered it before. But for those who are like unable to actually provide their service, build your community. Build your community so that they are ready for you when the doors open.
Yes.
They are sitting on ready. They got cards out. They got cash out. They said, listen, we've been waiting for this. I want to be the first in line. This is your time to set that up.
That is good.
You got to build your community because that's going to build up your trust. That's going to build trust in what you do, who you are, and what you provide. Because people purchase the person. They don't purchase the product. I want to be able to like you in order to buy from you. If I don't like you, then I'm going to go to somebody else. So this is your chance to build your brand and build your community.
And I think too, it's because I think people. So like for me, I was in a what is it called? Retreat, like an online virtual retreat I did. And the one thing that I was missing was telling my story. I had the business.
Yes.
I had the people who kind of knew who I was, who were my friends, but I needed the people who are my target audience to know me. And I wasn't willing to share me yet. Like I was like, no.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I'm just getting to that phase. Let's just say that.
Well, we both on this live and on this podcast together. So
y'all know my business now.
All of it. But
girl, she done been through this a couple of times. She bought courses, bought programs.
Yes, did it all. But I think the thing is that the fight. I think the fight and the strength in you, and the fight in that we get from having the faith is why we can sit here and go, yeah, we've been through some stuff, but faith
builds up your tenacity to do things and to attack things. Faith is actually what you need in order to have confidence. I'm a full believer that people can sit there and say they got confidence, but if they ain't got no faith, you're gonna question, like, are you really confident you can do that?
And I think,
are you sure?
Knowing who you are, I think that helped me too, because I knew this is what God told me to do. This is how He shaped me to do it. And because I'm not operating it, I was like depressed a little bit. I was like, I need to do this. I had to function, but I was like, and I was hesitant. And then now that I'm doing it, there's so much freedom. There's so much liberty. And I had I had to get past what it might look like to people who didn't want to be a part of the collective. Because I think that too is where people get caught up.
Yeah, everybody ain't for everybody, y'all.
Yes,
you gotta,
or at least
you gotta have the person. That's for another time. But listen to what she just said, y'all.
Yes, you have to go into. You can't keep yourself in a box. because of what it might look like to somebody else. Whether they
don't matter. What they think about what you're doing is none of your business.
No, because God told you to do it. And I think that's one thing, we've been studying Hebrews, like we've been in this Hebrews, me and Abby. Hey, Abby. And
Hi, Abby.
Hey, Abby's on. And we've been studying, and I think that's the thing, the disobedience. I never want to be disobedient to God. And when you don't operate in the purpose that he gave you, you're being disobedient. And I was like, ooh. And I took that harshness, and not that I was disobedient. I needed to be confident in him, and then the confidence in me would come.
Yep. That is, that's a lesson that I am still learning. Been learning for, since forever, we'll just say that. Mm-hmm. But you hit the nail on the head. We have to trust him in order to even think of some of the things that we want. We have to be confident and trust him to carry us. Trust him to, he's going to download in you. He's going to tell you what moves to make, but you got to be willing to, one, be open to listen, and two, trust him. You got to invite him into that space, because he ain't just going to show up. He ain't going to be just like, bam, what's up? This is what we doing. That's not how he roll. So you have to be open. You have to be trusting. Yes. And that trust that's a lot more than just saying, I trust him. We'll just say that.
Yes.
You're going to say you trust him, but then he going to test you.
Yes.
And when you test you, that's when you really going to find out. Do you really trust him? Do you really have this faith that you be going on and on about? Because a lot of us, we would say, yeah, I got faith. I trust God. I know he got me. He's protecting me. Mm-hmm. But one will either go out and do foolish stuff, or two, let foolish stuff happen.
Yes. So I agree with Abby, but she said we can never be truly fulfilled until we understand and start walking in our God-given purpose.
That's right. Because you're going to be sitting there trying to fill in all these kind of empty holes that we all get through trauma, through everything else. But he's the only one that can fulfill you. He's the only one that can fill it. He's the only one that if you give your heart fully and totally to him, he's the only one that's not going to let you down.
Yes. And I think that's what the mistake we make. We make putting things into that hole. Like, let me see if this square piece fits in this round hole that God should be in. And you try to shove things in there, and it just doesn't fit.
Look, and life ain't nothing but a bunch of square pieces. You sitting there, he's just sitting there looking at you like, my boy, baby. Oh, my daughter. Like, I just told her, but she don't want to listen.
She don't want to listen.
I'm gonna let her go ahead and get this scab, get this bruise, and then okay, we talk.
She'll pick up this round piece that I have given her, and that's the thing. He has already given it to us, and we just don't pick it up. And I'm like,
or we pick it up for 2 seconds, and if it's not entertaining enough, we put it down and go pick up the square piece.
Yeah, because the square pieces, let's be honest,
it's more attractive.
They're fun, but they're unfulfilling. Those square pieces are temporal. The fun and the happiness and the joy you get from those square pieces of life, and whatever those square pieces are for you, because everyone's square pieces are different.
You're right.
Because not every square person. Yeah, some people. Whatever it is, whatever your square pieces look like, but we have to understand that he has the wholeness. That's why I said the circle, the wholeness that comes when you pick up the circle. You are whole, like you become whole, and I think that's what we're missing. Is how do we become whole as people, as business women, especially on this podcast. We're all women, so we're
right.
single, we're single women, we are single mothers, because they're single mothers. We're single mothers. We're women who are wives, who are married. We are business women. We are doctors, lawyers, business strategists. There's so many women who we speak to. So that's why I don't want to name nobody squares. But what I do want to say is that we honor you. Like, we want you to be whole and just live in the wholeness of the circle. Don't miss out on the circle.
Yes. And pick it back up.
Yes.
So we don't drop it. We're gonna put it down. It's inevitable.
And don't.
But we got.
I think being transparent, as Christian women, we do drop it. We often
Mhm.
we drop it.
Oh yeah, I gotta pick mine back up.
We drop it, and we may not even realize we did drop it until we're like, "Dang, this doesn't fit. How'd that happen?" It's like
Mhm.
the piece slid out, and then another piece slid in, and I was like, "Hold a second, I thought I was supposed to be doing this right." And somewhere in there, my will came into his will, and I wasn't listening the way I was supposed to be listening. And I was like, "How
Yep.
did I do that?" And so I think it's it's a analyzing. So I don't know about you. I kind of go, "Okay, this is what I did. This is what I got." This is what I did. This is what I got.
Mhm.
What I need to do differently so I don't get the same thing the next time. Because I'm tired of going around the circle. Because sometimes,
Ask him to order our steps.
yes,
Asking him to synchronize our will and his will so they are aligned,
mhm,
and remove from us anything that needs to be removed.
yes. I was listening to a song. It's called Refiner. And it was just talking about remove the things that you wouldn't have in me. I'll burn only for you. It was. I have to look. I'll post it. It was a good one.
We're fine. Okay.
It was my,
Yes.
it was my
Please.
late night. My late night business worship. Because let's be honest. Like you have to create a space to be a successful business owner.
Mhm.
What does your space look like? What does your space sound like? Now, I love R&B.
Yeah.
Always
Yeah.
have. Look,
I'm an RB baby.
I'm a night, the 90s, the 2000s. Look, she's
Mhm.
80s. I'm with it. Like,
There's some 70s and 60s
yes,
I like too. I'm not even gonna lie.
I'm not
So
sure what it's doing. Girl, I've been watching DJ Nice. There's some nights. Have you girl, yes, we be jamming because it's clean, and that's one thing I love about him. It's all clean. I don't
yeah,
have to worry about what words popping up. I like,
right.
but it's I know you have to have a balance, and so you have to create the space that you want God to come into. So you can't
Mhm.
continuously listen to craziness and think that he's coming into that.
Right. You have to create a space where you're able to praise and worship him thoroughly and truly. And that's when he's going to, I don't want to say arrive because he's always with us,
He's always
but
with us, yeah.
that's when he'll enter, is
Here,
when you created the environment that's conducive to what he requires.
yes.
Cause you sitting there and you listening to Tasha Cobb, and then in your playlist, Beyonce come on or Nicki Minaj come on, and you what? Huh? Excuse me, what? Um, mm, let me know when you ready, cause you ain't ready. Let me
Man,
know when you ready.
you're ready. And I think it's just not, and not even just like the music. It's more like there's a space. Like, so I have my office. Not everyone has that privilege, so I'm not gonna say
Right.
it. But there
Man,
should be
closet, bathroom.
whatever your space is. There's got to be a space where only you and him can be in. And I have been victim. I'm good for the setup. Like wake up and roll over and look at my phone thing. So I'm getting better.
Yep, me too. I'm
I'm getting
guilty.
guilty. Like I'm super guilty. But I think walking out of the bed, because I have to physically get up. Once I'm awake, I'm awake. I'm out. And I have to get out and go into the space and then have that dialogue. Create that open.
Yes.
Read my Bible, get into my word. And there's so much
And
that he reveals in that space. And I'm an early morning. So not everybody's an early morning. I'm a 5 o'clocker.
I'm a 5 o'clocker too. I haven't been the last 4 weeks, no, 5 weeks, but well, no, I take that back. There's been some 5 o'clocks in
Yeah.
there. But one thing I will say is God is like when you start building your relationship with him, you see how funny he can be.
Yes.
Because he will,
Yes.
he will, so we know he will either send things or allow things, right?
Mhm.
He will allow you to not get any sleep because you ain't spent no time with him. And he like, yo, I'm trying to impart some wisdom into you, and yo ignorant behind ain't
Get up.
look, I'm talking for myself because this is things that he has done to me. Like I have had sleepless nights where I know it was because I was not being obedient. And he has told me it's because you ain't been obedient. Like, listen, this is why you can't sleep. And then the minute you do what you're supposed to do, whether that is spend some time with him, whether that is journal, whether that is just praying and just like sitting in like silence,
Silence. Oh my goodness.
Waiting for him to speak to you, because you ain't always got to be the one talking. You shouldn't be the one that's always talking.
Yes.
Talking. Yeah. But here's it. You haven't done this, so guess what? You're not going to get the rest that you seek because you have not sought me. And I am the key to your rest.
That's so good.
You're not going to rest until you seek me. You're not going to see abundance. You are not going to be living bountifully or abundantly or graciously because you ain't sought me.
Yeah.
And that is the contract.
Yep. That is like a read fine print.
Right. And then on the other side is he is incredibly graceful. He is incredibly forgiving. He said, listen, child, you have sought repentance. Perfect. Let's start over.
Yes.
It's but like you gotta see never happened. To him repenting. You got to come to him sorry. And you like, we ain't talking about like, my bad, God. And then you sit there and do it. But you got to sit there and pray and be in a repentive state. When you are not praying, your body is going to show it. Yeah. Your like mental, your physical, spiritual, all of it is going to show. Your environment is going to change. Mm-hmm. And until we understand that and start acting on what we understand, things are going to kind of topple over, kind of get chaotic.
But
go ahead.
We set the environment.
You're right.
We set the environment.
Look, I got on a tangent.
Yep. I said we set the environment as believers, and especially women. Women don't understand. You set the environment in your home.
You sure do.
You can play if we want to, but we do. Whether our husbands, yes, are the head of our households, yes. But we all know when mom is not happy, there's a lot of people who ain't happy.
There's the temperature, and then there's the thermostat.
Yes.
Which one are you gonna be?
Yes. And we set that. We set that in our house, and we set that for our children. We set that for our husbands. We have to operate in love and grace. And I'm not saying this from a place that I have it perfect, because that's not true.
Right. Love, grace, forgiveness, all of that. It is incredibly important because you all are in a covenant together. Like you all are one. So and I say you all, we are one. So we have to remember that, and we have to be gracious enough and open enough to do things that maybe our flesh don't want us to do.
Ooh.
Because that flesh be playing tricks. Man.
Ooh, yes, it does. She's tricky. Look, I used to refer to her as, I just did in the third person, her, like she wasn't me.
She, her.
I used to use
that girl,
that girl. But then a friend did say, you need to stop doing that. That's you. You need to stop.
Because it's a choice. So you made the choice.
You made the choice. You can't
really blame it on her. This is where you're being the victim, and I need you to come out of that.
And then so I stopped doing the she and her accurate, of the flesh, because really the flesh, if you don't check it, it will check you.
Yes.
And you'll be in a place where you're like, darn, God, how did I get here? But you were operating in your flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not fun. I mean, it may seem fun, for a minute.
For a whole minute. You might feel fulfilled for that quick second, but then the conviction comes and you're like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm. And that conviction is the form of grace.
It is. It is. It's to teach.
He won't condemn you, but what if he did? Yeah, crickets, right?
Yes.
I don't want to be in that seat. I don't want to be in that line.
No, never. I don't want to be in that line at all. And so what are some things that you do to grow your faith, your family, yourself? Like self-care? What is
some? Write this down. What do I do to?
Okay, let's do. Okay, no, don't write it down. We'll just do it in parts. What are some things that you do to grow yourself, to grow your faith?
So faith, I would say, reading His Word, so reading the Bible. And I'll be honest, I have to be entertained. I have to be entertained. So I try to find devotionals that will either devotionals or videos or something that's going to help supplement what I am reading. It'll be along the same lines, but I need something that's going to kind of engage me. Like, yes, Yeah, I need something that's going to engage me a little more than what I'm being engaged. We'll just put that. So that's one thing. I also write. So whether it's journal, whether it's when I was younger, I used to write letters to God. So I had my little diary and it was just letters to God, right? So I'm about to start doing that again because I'd stopped doing it, but I need to get back.
You should do it so your son. So I did this. I do some so that my son can, when I'm old and he gets on my stuff, he can see the journey.
So I have something like that for my child, but that's more of like notes I take whenever I'm doing Bible studies or sermon or stuff like that.
I'm sure when he gets his letters,
I'll go ahead and do the letters too. So I'll start that. I love that idea. So I do that, or I'm going to start doing that. Prior to that, I would just like have open conversations. Like I'd be in my office and like just talk, and then listen and talk and listen. Like, so like kind of like I'm talking to myself, yes, but I'm not. That is another thing. I also look to like the women that I have in my community. I'm able to talk to them and we're able to have conversations. And Sherelle, you know this, we have conversations all the time. And that is a way of me building my faith.
Yeah.
Because when I can like be transparent and be open and speak to either a test or a testimony and allowing others to see that, that is like a burst of growth, I would say.
It is, yeah.
But also having that return, like, because it's a two-way, like it's a relationship, so it's a two-way street. But allowing them that opportunity to share the same way, it all goes together. So those are definitely some of the things that I do when it comes to building my faith. And then prayer, of course. That's like the last thing, but that is the most important thing. Because the tests be real. And I'm a perfectionist. I'm the teacher's pet. So I like to be yeah.
Well, she's telling y'all the truth. She is.
Oof, goodness gracious. But yes, that's okay. What's next?
I think the best part about what you said was when you were saying it's a two-way relationship, and we forget relationship. It has to be reciprocal. You can't call your friend and dump on them.
Don't dump, please don't.
Not ask them how they do.
Yes, if you are,
that's not okay.
Here's quick game for those of you who may not understand how relationships work, especially when it's like your girlfriends that you're talking to. If you're in a space where you need to vent or dump, ask permission first. Because you don't know what's going on in that person's life that's about to hear an earful of what you got to say.
Yeah.
Or
give a warning.
Hey, I'm about to vent for a second. So this is one thing that one of my business besties do, and I love her for it because we both like vent. But she'll say, hey, I'm getting ready to, I need to vent for a second. And we do it through like Marco Polo. So she'll say, if you're not in the space to hear this right now, then stop listening and just come back to it.
I love that.
And that's because we both operate the same way. Hey, I got to vent for a second. Are you in a space to hear this? No. Okay, then I'm going to chill. I'm gonna sit back on it. That is a form of love.
It is.
That is showing your love to your girls. Yes. Is giving them the space to whether they're going to receive it or not. And if you don't have nobody to vent to God.
Yes. But I think honestly, look.
That's the first place you need to be going.
That's the first place you should be going. Like, I love my girlfriends because I have some great kingdom sisters, you included. But God had to He took a lot of people away. And it wasn't that they were gone, because they weren't gone, because you were never gone. It was just a season where I didn't feel you near. And so he was like, I need you to come to me. Yep. All these people, no. I need me and you. This is who you rock with. And so I think when you don't do that, he'll bring you to a place where you realize that you're not doing that.
Or he's gonna bring you to a place where you got no choice but to do it.
Yeah,
I don't have no choice but to come to me now. I have to do all this, but I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, he'll find a way.
He says, out of all my children, I have not lost one.
Yes, he did.
Like if you were called, if he draws you, he ain't letting go.
Yes, but we do love the girlfriends. Like, cause
like girl time is definitely needed.
It's something we need. Girl trips are a needed thing. Let's talk about that.
Yes, and I ain't talking about the movie.
No, not that. No,
But no, those are definitely like,
yes,
if you have not done one, or if you don't have like a group that you feel comfortable doing, find you a group,
yeah,
find you somebody, like start building those, start opening up, communication.
communicating.
Trust that he's going to bring the people in your life that
And
you
that's,
in
and
order
that's
to
what it
have
was.
that space.
So, because to be honest, so I had a lot of girlfriends, but they kept falling away. But then when I asked God to bring me true sisters in Christ, I think that's when things changed. That's those. That's when it was different. It was like, okay, these are my kingdom sisters. So even if they make you mad, you didn't have to worry about seeing me talking to me.
Cut
Seeing
off game, slick.
so cool. I could walk past you and not say nothing.
Wouldn't
But
see
God
you.
convicted me about that.
Yep.
Oh yes, he took that out of me real quick.
Mm,
And I think that it was a maturity. I had to mature past some stuff, You have to mature
yeah.
back.
Maturing
But
hard.
it is. It is real hard. I'm sorry. Look, I guess I guess we're just not one to take it easy. There's some people who just mature so gracefully. They're
And
like,
bless
oh,
them for it.
me, I'm like, why? Why are we
Like,
doing
I
this?
want my way. No, it needs to be this way. No, it can't be that way. Okay, I give up. Like, at some point, you're going to give the game. You're going to give up the game.
But when you have those kingdom sisters, it doesn't matter what happens. You can have a disagreement, a misunderstanding, and you can come and have a conversation and say, hey, I didn't like this, or they say, I didn't like that. And you go, okay, well, let's pray about this thing. And then it's cool.
Because that's
We
what
done.
you're supposed to do. That's biblical. You are supposed to do that. Somebody offends you, you need to come to them and tell them that. Because the worst thing is to be mad at somebody and they don't know. That you poisoning yourself. They ain't worried about you.
not even, and they may not even have intended to offend you. And it may not even have been about you. And I think that's one thing that God took the selfishness out. So like there was my purview was, how do things affect me? So what you're doing automatically has to be about me. And it's not. It is so not. Someone's bad day ain't got nothing to do with you. You're just seeing the response of their bad day that has nothing to do with you.
You were right.
Yeah, I had to learn. That was a good lesson. I learned that one.
Yeah.
I was like, God is not all about me. I was feeling myself. And look, I still feel myself. But I had to understand that everything in the universe is about me. Not everything is a direct reaction because of me.
That's right. If we are to seek his peace, that's going to come with, like, it's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. It's going to hurt. It's going to sting, but it's supposed to, because you're decreasing so he can increase in you.
Yeah. I think it is a beautiful journey. You look back on it and go, man, God, man, have I grown?
Like, you did that. You did that. Look,
man, you just knew all along.
You know how many people want to pop this smoke?
Yes, I think that's the beauty of the relationship of being kingdom sisters. I think when you were talking about what you were talking about, giving it back to the person who gave it to you.
Yes.
It is so cool to cheer for my sisters. I love it. It is like, I feel like I'm winning too. Yeah, we did.
You know what? That's like my favorite thing to do. When I see people winning and people starting to walk in their, like, on their journey and starting to walk, like, I think I be like second guessing, am I cheering too much, too hard? I'm not going to stop, because I want them to feel that, because that's how I would want someone to, like, treat me.
Me, yes.
Like when they say treat people the way you want to be treated, that is true. Like, I am a big cheerleader for folks who are doing the things that they're called to do, because they're fulfilling his mission. And at the end of the day, his kingdom is what it's all about.
Yes, that is it. His kingdom is all it's about. And so what are some ways you grow your family?
So with my family, we like to have fun. So and like, me and my husband, we're children at heart, and we have a son who is the perfect mix of both of us, I will say. He has both his mama's serious side and his daddy's funny side. So let's see here. We do game nights. Like, we fellowship together. So we have fun together. We also pray together. Bible study, like, we study together. So we ask questions. We like when it comes to like our faith walk, we very much talk to our son as if he was one of us. Like we
Yes.
bring it down to a level where he thoroughly understands and he can apply it. But we also show that, listen, mama and daddy are not perfect either.
Yes, I think that's
We struggle just like you struggling. We
yeah.
struggle with all kinds of things, just like you are feeling.
Yeah.
It may manifest in a different way, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's the same journey.
It
Because
is.
we are all called to be like children. So we
Yes.
have to be like graceful enough and humble ourselves to that level. So I think that's one thing well, I guess that's two things
Oh,
that
yeah.
we
It's
do to grow our family.
yeah.
And then also sharing with others. Again, it's like giving to others and sharing environment, sharing spaces, being able to commune and fellowship with other people. I think
Yeah.
that's big because we're a small family. There's only three of us.
Yeah, there's only 3 of us
Yeah,
too, so I
so we're
know.
a small family, and sometimes you just have like sometimes you can get so caught up in you and your circle that you forget that there's a world out there. So it's good to like kind of commune and fellowship with other families so you can grow a bigger family.
Yeah.
Maybe not within your household because no, uh, done,
Got you.
done.
We there. We
But
there.
still like build that support system.
Yes, the support system. The support system is everything.
Yes.
And yes, yeah, we have definitely been fortunate. So now let's talk about how you grow yourself. Because yes, we do our faith, but you take time out for Ola. How do you do that?
Um, so before the pandemic, I was getting my nails done. And
Oh,
that was like my little piece of me time
yes.
because I was either with my son or with the family or at work. So it was never just me. And I grew up in a small family too. So I was kind of used to like, I grew up being able to have my own space. And so
Yeah.
I do have my own space at home. So I do kind of, frolic about in here. This is where I am right now. So I don't think I'm getting my nails done anytime soon. Not unless I do them. But
Yeah, that's about it.
I have like self-care days. So
Yeah.
I am like when I told y'all I was trying to open up a spa, I was so serious about it because I knew some stuff. But I have my little spa days. So I'll do like a facial and a mask. I do my own hair. So whenever I'm doing my hair, that's a form of self-care, a form of just me.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes I just got to get in the car and drive. And it just be me and just be able to drive. And if I want to talk to my girls, I'll call them while I'm on the drive. Because sometimes you want to talk and you don't want to have to like run upstairs and close the door to talk to them the way you would talk to them. So I get in the car, drive around, go for a walk. Exercise is a big thing. I'm just now getting back into it.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't.
Because I realized that I was just being grumpy, and I was like, "Why am I
Yeah,
grumpy?" I realized
yeah.
I haven't worked out because I can't go to a gym, and I was like, "Okay, it's time to get back on it this pandemic way." So we've
I'll
been
be honest. I've been like I ain't seen a gym in well now. So at home workouts, stretches. So I used to be a dancer. So dance
yeah, I
like,
know.
when we
Yeah,
were in Japan, like going to dance class was a form of me going, like me having that space and time for just me, even though I was bringing Aiden with me. So now that I don't have that, I've had to get a little creative. So like, exercise, just kind of find any kind of like any space and opportunity and schedule it.
schedule it.
Everyone, schedule it. Make it mandatory. Your house is not okay if you are not okay. Whether you're married, single, got kids, don't have kids, your life is like they are not okay if you are not okay. So your cup got to be filled first before you can fill somebody else's cup.
That is true. That is so very true. And I think that's why I was like, how do you do that? And that's so important. I think that's how I got into painting and craft.
Mm-hmm.
That was a form of
hobbies. My hobby
hobby.
right now is watching YouTube videos. In shopping.
In shopping. See, I've tried to stay away from the shopping. I'm trying to be a
Girl,
good.
staying away. Staying away.
Only because I'm like, where am I wearing this to?
Look, I just like looking at the clothes, organizing the clothes. Like, girl, when recess is when it's time for recess, I'm gonna be real cute.
You should be real cute, real cute. See, I'm gonna be back there like, dog. I should have bought some stuff when it was recess. When we was in what am I gonna wear? Especially, I moved from the coldest place on earth. It felt like England to Florida. So I have some things because I came home and stuff, but not like a
wardrobe, not a full wardrobe.
No, we got to get that together. I guess I need to do some shopping a little bit.
Yeah.
But so now that we're at the end of the show, I loved having you. Thank you for coming.
This was so much fun.
I know it was. It just felt like our normal conversation.
It really did.
How do business owners, entrepreneurs, women find you?
So you can find me on Instagram at Ola.Kimble, and you can find me on Facebook at Ola Kimble. There's not a space or anything. So just type in Ola, then Kimble. And then my website is www.olakimble.com.
Yes. And I will post all of those in the comments and on all the social media for it. And just thank you. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Just a little nugget. So we did the interview because I was going to do this magazine. I thought, okay, I'm going to do this magazine. It came to me. I seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I'm going to do this. And then we did that interview. And then I listened to it. And I said, God said, why don't you do a podcast? And I said, oh my goodness, because it sounded so free-flowing, and just because it's us. But that's how I am with most people. I'm a person who I could be in the grocery store minding my business. Like today, I was minding my own business in my mask. Like, you can't see but this much of my face. And this man came up to me and asked me about my sweatshirt. And he's like, oh, Dublin. Oh, and my family's from Dublin, and he looks like me and said his family was from Dublin. So I said,
awesome.
Okay. But my mom said, what did you say to him that he's talking to you? Why do people just randomly talk to you? I've always had that.
Yeah. Always. That's kind of how we met. We were at the playground with the boys and we just started.
We were.
Yeah, we just started with the boys.
We just started talking. And so that's how the podcast was birthed, was that conversation that we recorded, thinking we're going to do like an article or something.
Yep.
Nope, it's going to be a podcast. And we would love to have you back.
Look, y'all not getting rid of me. So I'll be back anytime.
Yes. And so for all of you guys who are listening, the podcast will be uploaded to iTunes tonight, but you won't be able to search it till tomorrow because it takes 2 days. I got approved. And so it takes some days to be searchable, but I'll post the link once it is searchable, but it will be on the website tonight, which is bountifulgraceco.com. So thank you for coming and good night.
Good night.